I stayed there on the cold tiles for a very long time. I curled up in a ball and wept for a while. After there weren't any tears left in me, I even managed to get some sleep. When I awoke, the subway train I'd come in was gone, off carrying more blue-gray abominations to wherever blue-gray abominations go. I couldn't handle going back there. I tried to find my way back to where I started, to find the subway that I recognized, but I wasn't even sure which direction I should have been going in anymore. I walked for hours, then another. Finally, I found one that have looked familiar, or I was desperate enough to imagine that it did. When I stepped up to the door, it opened for me, and I took a seat. It started up, and in spite of being a lifelong thought I would save people, human beings, I'd be the most devoted man in the world. Then I noticed their eyes, especially the first eye in the center of their foreheads. Well, fuck you then, God, I thought. They were so close to looking like humans, so close. They were easier to take than the last bunch though, and I was thankful for that. The third eye blinked independently of the other two, and that was nauseating. And one of them smiled or laughed or spoke with another. I couldn't help but notice that their teeth were sharp and yellow and green with filth. But I was careful, selectively blind. I could pretend to stretch that I was home, until one of them entered with a sandwich in hand, and I realized with a start that I was starving and hadn't eaten or drank in what must have been days. The next terminal I came to, I decided to try to find something to eat or drink. I don't know why I waited, but it seemed important to ride to the end of the line. I got there and could barely bring myself to leave. I'd never seen the stranger leave the underground. I'd never seen him eat or drink either. My stomach would not take no for an answer though. I steeled myself and tried to keep my face careful, natural, and made my way into the station proper. And then I got confused. I was looking at the escalator or stairs or something like that. But all I saw was holes in the ground, in the walls, in the ceiling, gaping irregularly sized holes, like I was in the middle of a beehive. What was I supposed to do? Leap into one? It didn't make any sense. Not until someone came through one. He floated up through the floor, and then floated by me. He frowned for a second, or at least I think it did. But apparently, whatever kept them from recognizing me was as alien in the subway extended at least this far. It did not, unfortunately, allow me to levitate, which seemed to be the only way out of the subway station beehive thing. Swearing, I made my way back into the tunnel. I was angry, lost, starving, and I've been abandoned to a fate that, if it wasn't worse than hell, was it twice as stupid or 3 times as nonsensical? I was not in the best frame of mind, which I feel excused the mistake. Normally, I take corners with wide berth because everyone knows that if you just dart around the corner sharply in public places, chances are decent that you're going to walk into someone. As I did, I slammed into someone, a woman, and fell on the ground without thinking. I reacted like a New Yorker would, badly. Jesus, fuck, you stupid bitch. Watch where you're going. I realized my mistake, even before she did. Her eyes grew quizzical and confused. And when she really noticed me, she plugged with horror. She leapt, floated quickly back from me and let out something scream-like, a little more yowly than I was used to. But I got the point. Further down the tunnel, I saw alien free-eyed heads turning towards us. I thought suddenly about all those sharp, filthy teeth, and just like that, I was running. The subway train wasn't there, but there was a walkway along the tunnel for the repairman, I assumed. That's who would use it where I'm from anyways. I took it at full speed and just kept running until each breath felt like getting stabbed. I stopped. The tunnel had curves, so I couldn't see the light any longer, but nobody appeared to be following me. Going back, though, was not an option. I continued forward in the dark for a long time. Eventually, I came to a small opening in the wall and stopped there for a rest. Hunger, despair, and a full-speed, terrified run. I probably would have wept again, which seemed to be all I could capable of lately, but it just seemed like too much work. I sat against the wall, legs splayed out, and imagined I was beating the bastard strangers to death with a hammer. It was a relieving image. A rat was shuffling around nearby in the dark. Every so often I would kick out a foot scared away, but after a time I didn't even bother with that. Rabies or any other disease it might be carrying would be a blessing compared to the endless traveling through the subways or strange worlds, lost, destitute, and alone. When it crept near me again, I didn't shoo it off. Even when it reached and pressed against my leg, I couldn't bring myself to care. Not until a train passed by, and the light of the cars lit everything up. I was in. I had thought it was a rat. It was rat-like, yes, but not as much as it was spider-like. If someone had bred the two of them together, the resulting abomination might have been almost as horrible as the thing that was nuzzling my leg. I shrieked, flung myself up the floor, and booted it like a soccer player would, right into the opposite wall. Its back made a screeching crunch, and I watched it twitch out its last before a final car pressed and the darkness returned. And in the darkness, a terrible thought came to me. I wondered if it was edible. I didn't want to, and I gagged just imagining it, but I was hungry. And there was no guarantee that I'd be able to find food in this place, right? Or even again. Rat spider was my only option. I held off as long as I could, but in the end survival trumpled the thought of hunger. I had my lighter, but nothing to light on fire. I picked meat off its carcass and cooked it a little by holding it over the flame, but it didn't help much. Nothing could have could have its meat was foul, more foul than anything you can imagine. I've been that desperate for food since, and eaten many other questionable things, but nothing has ever been as bad as that rat spider was. In retrospect, that is when I became a stranger. Before I struggled to reach the expressionist trait the other had maintained. What I had taken for calm was numbness, a sharp rock through the river over time, have its edges rounded off by the water beating over it, and what I'd gone through had done the same, tearing up and eating a monster in the dark, below an alien world. The last of my edges smoothed. By the time I left the darkness, came back in the tunnel, I was expressionless and empty as one who'd led me here.